Hey everyone, Goji Fan Predasaur 2003 here with another review. Now, this video is going to be a bit special because it's going to be a double video because I figured I'd do 2 in 1 given that upcoming month in a week is going to be June. So, I got some prehistoric vids ready for Jurassic June, and right now, let's get right to it. And without further ado, here is Silvergon. He's not a dinosaur monster in any case, because it's not June yet, so here we go. He first appeared in Ultraman Tiga in Jungle of the Rainbow Monsters. He was one of the first monsters to be featured in the first few minutes, and where a family were going out camping on a bit of a trip, and eventually they went through a sort of portal, and it was by a rainbow, so yeah, they went through. And they ended up in a place where there were a bunch of abandoned cars with skeletons in them, meaning that the people who went in there never got out. This one will be a bit different. The family, after they saw what was in the cars, they went back to their car. Then they saw a giant monster coming in, and that was Silvergon. Apparently his vision is based on movement, so when their cars stopped, Silvergon stopped following them. He appeared later on in the episode in which he fought Gaggy, or Gaggy 2, another monster from Ultraman Tiga, but anyways, he fought Gaggy and broke through his shield with sheer force and managed to best Gaggy, first by hitting him, then Gaggy got some good hits in with his whips, but Silvergon just ripped those off of his claws and soon went in for the kill, biting him, sucking him dry. Apparently quite vampiric. Despite him looking more demon-like, he's a bit more vampiric-like, so yeah. And given he has the moniker of Herculean Monster, I guess that's to be expected. After that, we mainly see, well, there is also clone Silvergon in Ultraman Dyna, so yeah. In one of the episodes of Ultraman Dyna, there's an island full of cloned monsters, one being a clone Silvergon, the other being a clone Sildress, I believe. And that was an insectoid monster, and clone Silvergon got the best of Sildron, smacking him with his tail, and Sildron began foaming at the mouth, and that was it. After that, we see Silvergon go after Guts 2 crew, and eventually he loses them. But he later appears in the episode attacking the laboratory, in which Neosaurus was to be deployed to defend the laboratory. The two fought, and eventually Neosaurus got the better of Silvergon, even pulling him forward from a little tail lock with their tails. Then Neosaurus grabbed Silvergon's tail and threw him out to the lab. So that plan was a bit of a bust. And then Neosaurus pretty much vaporized and destroyed Clone Silvergon, and that was it for Clone Silvergon. After the Heisei era, we also go into a bit of a millennium, so to speak, in which we see King Silvergon and King Goldrats in the Ultra Brother 8 movie, and where I haven't seen the movie specifically, so my apologies for that, but yeah, eventually King Silvergon, he was a bit of a powered-up version, and we finally get to see Silvergon technically attack a city, but, well, eventually he fell to the might of the Ultra Brothers. The Heisei ones, I believe. And he did come back, technically. His spirit came back, along with a few of the other king monsters, along with Super Hipporito, and they all merged into one beast, in which King Silvergon was one of the heads to Giga Chimera. But given that's a separate monster, we'll let that slide. The next time we do see King Silvergon again is in Ultra Fight Zero, in which he, well, fights Ultraman Zero on another planet and ends up getting bested. And we also see him in Ultra Galaxy, the movie. This is before Ultra Fight Zero, so yeah. He was part of the Monster Army until he eventually got destroyed again. And after both the movie and Ultra Fight Zero, we never really see that much of the King Silvergon suit afterwards. I guess it got retired. And so far, that's it for the history of Silvergon. So right now, let's get right into his details, shall we? As you can see, he's quite, I want to say bricky or so. But yeah, some sort of round stone-like skin. As you can see, the little cracks kind of remind you of stone walls. You can also see the scars and scrapes on him. That's actually a nice little detail. Though those are almost lost on the tail as it gets a bit smoother. And yeah, I gotta say, I like the length of the tail. Very, very accurate. Then you got the feet down here, the legs. Yep. Pattern all around. Then you got the chest area. As you can see here, it goes from here to down there. They didn't paint the bottom of the neck, though. I guess that would be pretty hard. Though they did paint the front of the horns, but not the back of the horns, I'm afraid. They painted the eyes. You could see the teeth in there. Nice and sculpted. At least as best as they could, given that it's a flat surface. Then you got the eyes, which don't have any pupils, because he didn't have any pupils in the show. He's got a lot of detail, not much paint, given that, well, he's a very small figure. He's got small paint features on his claws and his toes, chest and face, or head. But these aren't painted because, nor are these lines in between them, because that would be pretty hard to paint. Not impossible, though. I know that. And yeah, I'd say he's got a lot of detail on him. Then you got articulation. His head can rotate, as you can see here. His arms can rotate, both of them. His apparently waist can rotate, but not. It is a bit rough though, and I'm not gonna turn it all the way. Then you got his tail. That can turn all the way though. That's really cool. His feet don't rotate though, unfortunately. So yeah, quite good articulation. Now let's compare him to some other monsters, shall we? Here is... hang on. There we go. Here is Gudon compared to him. I'd say this would be a good fight, and it could probably end up like the Gaggy fight, in which you just rip off his tendrils and suck his blood. So, yeah, that will be quick. Here is Hanzagiran. There you go. Been a while since you've seen her, or him, or whatever. Yeah, I feel like Hanzagiran should be a bit taller, but yeah. So far, I'd say this is good scaling. He'd probably do the same thing with her. Not with the tendril bit, though, but yeah. And now, here is Gomez, a prehistoric monster. I already did a video species on him last year, so go check that out. And yeah, I feel like Gomez should be a bit taller, or this is right. This seems like the right size. Like Gomez S. Normal Gomez would be smaller than Gomez S would probably be around the same size. So yeah, you know what? I'll just leave him here. So my thoughts on Silvergon? He's pretty cool. Yeah. We don't see many monsters suck the blood of their foes, or really that many blood-sucking monsters in tokusatsu nowadays. Probably be a little too reminiscent of Dracula. Well, and to be honest, given that Silvergon is... Oh, hang on. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Bit of a small mishap, but anyways, back to it. So for my thoughts on Silvergon, yeah, we don't get that many monsters in tokusatsu that can suck the blood from their opponents, and to be honest, it'd be kind of hard to fit him into the newer Ultraman shows, given the fact that, well, when he first appeared from in a rainbow forest, or rather a rainbow that went to another dimension into a forest, and yeah, it'd be kind of hard to bring that back. Or maybe it wouldn't be hard, but rather it wouldn't be impossible, but it would be pretty hard. So yeah. Now, that's it for my review on Silvergon, and now I believe it's time to get into that species video. So before we get into that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see you in the species video. Sorry. Well, anyways, let's get right to it, shall we?
I am Professor Megadon. Now, we will be focusing on monster species, and sometimes certain members of said species, in order to help you survive and maybe thrive within the new world today, considering how drastic changes have been. So, without further ado, let's get right to it, shall we? Now, today's subject will be the Vakishim species. Not just a monster, but rather a terrible monster, capable of moving from one dimension to another in certain circumstances. Now, these species of terror monster prefer to be on high elevation places, such as mountains and hills, as a way to keep an eye on certain areas of their territory. And once they find something that shouldn't be there, they will fight them to the death. And the said opponents will either go away or die trying to overtake their turf or just passing through. Not all make it through these encounters, and as you can see here, once Vakishims do defeat the monster, they will either leave their body or choose to eat them, using their hard beak to peck at them in case they have hard chilling. However, there are certain times when they cannot defeat monsters that just seek to pass by, such as seen here with the Silvergon, as they're just a little too strong for them to handle. However, they are capable of coexisting with other terrible monsters, as seen here. But with that said, it's best to keep an eye out when on mountainous and plain valleys, as it may just be the territory of a Vakishim, and they will hurt you, so tread lightly.